Are you serious? I mean, are you serious? What? A new world order. And they announced it today, of all days, with the Middle East going up in flames and Europe almost on 2 years of war with Putin in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin, boot scooting, nuking, shooting Putin, and President Xi Jinping got together today in China to announce a new world order. Now, I'm going to tell you all about that in just a second. But first, let's put a shout out for Mike Lindell's great company, www.mypillow.com/Paul. You got to use the promo code Paul. That's www.mypillow.com/Paul. Use the promo code Paul. Man, he put together, look at this. Use promo code Paul. He put together one of the greatest sales ever for us, just for the audience here of Paul Begley Prophecy. If you'll go right now to www.mypillow.com/Paul, use that promo code Paul, you can get My Pillow, either queen or king size, My Pillow 2.0, save 50% off. 50% off on these pillows. Are you serious? Are you serious? Use that promo code Paul. And then get this. Also, look at this. Unbelievable. Okay? Unbelievable. The sheets, the complete sheet set, $24.98. Also, get the original My Slippers. I have a pair of those because it was given to me for a Christmas gift. $39.98. They're so comfortable and so furry on the inside and warm. Are you serious? And then also, look at this. They've got some more stuff. They got unbelievable here, but they got My Coffee. It's already got My Pillow, but now he's got My Coffee. Well, you can get My Coffee at my website too. But anyway, go there, use that promo code Paul. And then there's the 6-piece towel set. Now, we have a set of those. They are phenomenal. Very good towels. Very durable, very good. They don't shrink in the wash. They don't wither away or fringe away. And only $29.98. That's insane. $29.98. Mike, go to www.mypillow.com/Paul. Use the promo code Paul. And and he's got these dishcloth set for you. There's another 80% off mattress sale and other stuff going on. A lot of sales. I'm just showing you just a little bit. There's a ton of stuff. Just go to www.mypillow.com/Paul. Use the promo code Paul, and you'll be glad you did. Mike's been tortured. He's been tormented. He's been canceled. He's been pushed around, but he keeps preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that's why I like him. And he asked me to be a representative there of his products, since he knows I'm preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. Now, what about this new world order? What's up with this? What is up with this new world order? I can't believe it, but I can, because in my book I wrote, Mark of the Beast RFID, it came down to that a Russian would be the head of the New World Order and that the Chinese would be the enforcers of it's in my book I wrote back in 2011, came out in 2012, called Mark of the Beast RFID. And there's so many things in that has come true. And now here you got these two guys announcing to the world a new world order. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. But this is the time we're in, guys. This is actually the time we're in. You can still get your tickets also for our webinar we just had last weekend. Final countdown, Road to Revelation. Phenomenal, incredible webinar. And order it, get your ticket. You can watch that webinar then for the next year, and all the 12 speakers as many times as you want. Slow it down, stop it, write stuff down. It's incredible. It is incredible webinar. So check it out. Now, guys, here's what's happening with this announcement. Are you serious? I can't even believe these guys, but it did happen. Here is the headline. With Putin by his side, Xi outlines his vision of a new world order. And he had Vladimir Putin right there by his side. They did that today in a summit they had with 150 underprivileged nations sitting there in this big summit put on by China in China. And taking, they want to take the power away from the Americans and set up a new world order. The leaders of China and Russia bragged on each other as the old and dear friends. They took swipes at the United States, and they depicted themselves as the building of a fair, multipolar new world order. And they marveled at their country's deepening trust with each other. China's top leader, Xi Jinping, used the Beijing-led conference of leaders from mostly developing countries today to showcase his ambitions to reshape the global order. As the world grapples with the war in Ukraine and a crisis now, the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, Xi cast his country as the alternative to the leadership of the United States of America. And he gave a prominent role to President Vladimir Putin of Russia, underscoring how central their relationship is to President Xi's vision. The event, the Belt and Road Forum, is centered on China's signature foreign policy initiative, which aims to expand Beijing's influence abroad with infrastructure projects. Putin was treated as the guest of honor, often pictured by Mr. Xi's side. The two leaders also met for a 3-hour meeting today on this day of the summit. And while Mr. Putin and President Xi huddled, President Biden landed in Israel on a visit aimed at preventing the war between Israel and Hamas from spreading throughout the Middle East. President Xi did not publicly even remark on the war. Putin, at a news conference, briefly blamed the United States for increasing the tensions in the Middle East by sending warships to the region. He said that such regional conflicts were shared threats that only strengthen Russian and Chinese relationships. Also, Mr. Vladimir Putin told Mr. Xi Jinping he has a like-minded partner driven by shared grievances toward the West, who is willing to push back against what they both perceive as American theocracy. President Xi sought to tout China as the force for a stability in this new world. And Vladimir Putin, alongside him, never mind that Russia upended Europe's security when he launched the invasion on Ukraine 21 months ago. Ideological confrontation, geopolitical rivalry, bloc politics are not a choice for us, said President Xi in a speech at the opening of the forum at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. What we stand against are unilateral sanctions, economic coercion, decoupling, and supply chain disruption. Mr. Xi said, clearly referring to efforts by the United States and its Western allies to pressure China. Washington and Beijing are engaged in a very intense rivalry over trade, technology, and the status of Taiwan. And China has protested bans opposed and imposed on by the United States on their exports of semiconductors to China. Mr. President Xi friendly displayed with President Putin at the Beijing Forum affirms a partnership not long ago hailed by the leaders as having no limits. Also, he's contributed to the splintering of countries into opposite blocs. Putin, at the start of the meeting, told President Xi on the sidelines of the conference, he said that China and Russia need to coordinate their foreign policies more closely, given what he calls the current difficult conditions. The conference was virtually absent of any European Union countries, largely because of the divisiveness of Russia's war in Ukraine. And Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary an authoritarian-leaning friend of Putin, and President Xi were the only European Union leaders to attend. Only one, okay, was Viktor Orban of Hungary. Now, represented instead were nearly 150 developing nations. China has dispersed close to $1 trillion through the Belt and Road Initiative, largely in loans, to build power plants and seaports and other infrastructure across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. But some countries are finding their ability to pay back their debts impossible. Well, that's how China gets you. They loan you the money, then you can't pay the debt, the interest rate's too high, and you end up having to cough up property like dams, nuclear power plants, farmland, all kinds of different things starting to be owned then by China. Look at America. We're the worst for it. And as for President Putin, his trip has yet to yield any new economic deals with China, but it has already brought diplomatic dividends for him, allowing the Russian leader to present himself as a global power broker, despite Western efforts to isolate him because of the war. He also met with Asian leaders in Beijing. And the forum has clearly shown that Russia remains a massive country with massive resources and that they are very far from isolation, said Artem Lukin, an international relations professor at the Far Eastern Federal University there in Russia. Also, Asia and the global South in general are clearly showing that the war in Ukraine is not their concern, that they are more interested in doing business with Russia. And at the same time, Vladimir Putin also sought to signal his geopolitical autonomy from China, his country's more powerful neighbor. He outlined Russia's own grandiose infrastructure plans in the region and called for foreign investment without stating plans to join China's existing projects. But later on, he called their two visions very complementary. And the question of how far China and Russia alignment extends has come into focus, into the question of how the world should respond to the humanitarian situations around the world, which becoming another wedge between Washington and Beijing. Beijing and Moscow have avoided condemning Hamas for its attack on Israel. Instead, they've criticized Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and called for a revival of talks for a two-state solution, a Palestinian state. For China, its criticism of Israel reflects its rising assertiveness and desire to curry the favor with countries in the Middle East and to exclude Israel from their plan. China has tried to play a bigger role in the Middle East, of course, to fill the vacuum left by the exit of U.S. troops, most notably when we left Afghanistan. And in March, China helped broker a deal to restore diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Two arch rivals, Beijing has also offered to mediate between Israel and the Palestinians. They want to be the ones that bring world peace. It is China and Russia who want to announce today a new world order. The crux of the issue lies in the fact that justice has not been returned to the Palestinian people, according to China's foreign minister, Wang Yi. He said that last week. Wang Yi, on a phone call with Kelso Amorim, an international affairs advisor to President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva of Brazil. On Sunday, Mr. Wang told his Saudi counterpart Prince Faisal bin Farhan, that Israel's retaliation in Gaza had already gone beyond self-defense. He also called on Israel to halt the collective punishment of the people of Gaza. And he pointed his remarks signal a shift away from China's stated policy of non-interference in another country's international or internal affairs. But China typically treads carefully when it comes to conflicts in other countries, opting for neutrality. But not now, not in this new world order. The Chinese want to put forth their strategy, proving that China has more flexibility by limiting its adversaries. It also allows China to deflect criticism about its domestic policies. We all know its human rights record are horrible, with its prison camps, work camps, even death camps, such as its crackdown on freedoms in Hong Kong and the human rights abuses in parts of the regions of Tibet. Matter of fact, China's stance will play well in the Islamic world, where it has faced some criticism in the past over its treatment of those Uyghurs, Muslim Uyghurs, that also are being held, a million of them, in work camps in China. And historically, China has maintained closer ties to the Palestinians. It recognized a Palestinian state in 1988, 4 years before establishing diplomatic relations with Israel. Matter of fact, China's support for a Palestinian cause goes back to the days of Mao, who saw kinship in the struggle with Western-backed powers. So they're doing this as a way to signal to the global South that China will support their countries in a way that probably shouldn't expect Western countries in general, and the United States in particular, to support them. So we have today the announcement of a new world order, basically by China, with Putin at his side, the vision of a new world order. Somebody said, well, there's no such thing. That's conspiracy theorists, Paul. Those are conspiracy theorists. This article was written by the New York Times. This article is written by the New York Times. New York Times is saying that China and Russia are forming the New World Order. And it will be a one world government. And it will be a beast kingdom found in Revelation chapter 13. Yeah. That's going on. These guys right here are doing that right now while the Middle East is on fire, burning with the stench of death and the smoke and fog of war, fulfilling biblical prophecy right before our very eyes. And you have to understand, China's New World Order and Russia's New World Order is not the same as the World Economic Forum or the global elitist New World Order. You see, because those are managed by the Western countries. That New World Order would be managed by those in the West. The European Union, the United States, probably, Canada, and the Western nations, the Great Britain. They would be the head of it, and they would structure a global New World Order. That's what the Illuminati has been pushing for. But you have to understand that even though there's that bunch, global cabal of global elitists wanting to make the New World Order, Putin would like to be the head of the New World Order. He has already said that before. And President Xi would like to be the head of the New World Order, and you'll let Putin be his sidekick. And then, so you have to understand there's a struggle right now for who will be the head of the snake. Who will be actually the Antichrist himself? There's struggles going on among world leaders and those that are still coming up in the ranks. So ultimately, you will see it all come together as a one world government. And I can tell you who are the enemies of it. Israel for sure, and probably the United States. They're already identifying in this very day, today, they identified the United States and Israel as really the enemies of the New World Order. So it's a biblical principle being played out again. Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, thank you, Vicky. I appreciate your support, and I'm glad you like it. I'm doing my best. I see geese flying high above the water, a child fishing with his father in the rain. I can smell blackberry brandy and chocolate-covered candy. I see a soldier crying on a train, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. I feel the deepness of his weakness. I can taste the brandy sweetness at a roadside Idaho cafe. I can hear old Teddy laughing, Fitzgerald's toes a-tapping to the roaring sounds of yesterday. Falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream of weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walked the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And a shotgun blast echoed across the page, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate with biblical prophecy, certainly every hour now. Every hour around the world, biblical prophecy is being played out. Whoever thought that today, with the chaos and Psalms 83 war raging in the Middle East, and the Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, the Saudi crown prince, canceling, saying that the Abraham Accords is dead. Of course, he could pick it up live tomorrow. And the threat of these protesting going on in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Turkey, in Tunisia, and I'm sure probably more countries before the day is over, against America and Israel. And the war between Israel and Hamas rages. And the president of the United States embracing Israel and standing there in Jerusalem. And after all that is said, throw in these two guys, China's President Xi Jinping and President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, announcing today a new world order is coming, and in which they're going to run it. I'm sure they'll get the help of Klaus Schwab and a few others. But you can see what I'm saying. Prophecy happening every day, every moment, every hour. Jesus Christ is coming back. Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ. Get another cup of coffee. You better calm down. It's almost over. Are you saved?